We are live.
Oh my gosh.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, welcome, Anna Pidgorna. Thank you for being here with us.
Hello.
Anna. Hooray.
You are in BC, yes?
Yes, I am in New Westminster, British Columbia.
Very fun. And Erin is in New Brunswick, and I am here in Nova Scotia. So we're just, we're making it feel nice and cozy in the nation.
Yes, just with a 4 hour time difference.
Just with a
It's just
small
a
four.
casual four
Yeah.
hours. Very convenient.
Anna, we have a few minutes that we want to just ask you a few questions about before, in which we want to ask you a few questions about the work before we get to show everybody this film. Can you tell us a little bit about this piece? We know about it, but not everyone else might yet.
Yeah, so I originally wrote it back in 2011, 2012 for a Halifax based singer, Janice Jackson, who uh, performed all the roles as a one woman show. And then you two took it and turned it into a duo, which is super awesome too. Um, and the piece explores the fairy tale Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but not the Disney version, sort of the original Grimm's fairy tale, which is considerably more gruesome. Um, and when I got into it, I did a bunch of kind of academic research about the tale and discovered different interpretations of it, like, of course, a Freudian one and another kind of one and a feminist one, just different things. And many of them kind of focused on this idea of the invisible male figure, as if everything, all the action is all about this invisible male figure.
Mm-hmm.
But the feminist perspective talked about the relationship between the mother and the daughter, and this idea of a woman's struggle to, like, feeling like she's gradually losing connection with her daughter, but also feeling like her own youth is fading away and like she's being supplanted by her daughter. So it's this desire to both bring kind of her baby back towards herself, but also to reclaim her beauty.
Mm. Yeah, we obviously that's been very clear to us in our interpretation of the work, but it's not necessarily what people would expect unless they've had a chance maybe to see your visual score that you created. Would
Right.
you be willing to talk a little bit about that? I have a couple images that I can screen share.
Yes. So a few years after I wrote the piece, I decided to create a kind of visual score based on it. And while I was writing it, actually, I also made drawings because I had such clear images in my mind. And actually, Janice used those drawings when studying the score initially. So I decided to create this set of prints using the technique of linoleum and a printmaking press uh, to create these 5 prints uh, to illustrate the the music. Um, and I really focused on the symbols that I explored in the music. And actually, in the original fairy tale, it's not just the apple, the poison apple, that
Mm-hmm.
the evil queen brings to Snow White. There are two more objects that she tries first. The first one is a piece of ribbon or lace that would be meant to lace up her corset, and she laces Snow White's corset so tight that she can't breathe. She passes out. But then the dwarfs come home and they undo her corset and she comes back to life. And then the second attempt, she brings her poison comb. Oh yeah, there's the corset. So I really I really wanted to show this kind of like visceral quality of this lacing, also kind of inspired by these crazy sort of piercing lacings where
Mm.
people will actually lace through their skin or through piercings on their backs. Um, so anyway, the second gift was a poison comb, and then she combed Snow White's hair. The comb got stuck kind of in her hair, and Snow White again fell asleep, went into a coma. But then the dwarves came and took out the comb, and she came back to life. And then finally, the third gift was the poison apple that everyone knows.
And I'm showing just these images sort of on rotation, so
Yeah,
you can see the score, the engraving of the notes and the lyrics.
This
yeah,
astonishes me every time I even glance at it years later. Every single time, I'm just like, how amazing, incredible. Have to
Right?
thank you.
do the music that inspired these images. It's so incredible.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I did a lot of hand worked elements as well, like all of that the red cording that's yarn that's sort of glued on with this rice
Mm-hmm.
paste that makes it look like sinew and arteries and umbilical cords and things like that.
For those watching this now and later, we have posted the link on our website to your website, Anna, where you have closer up images that people can go enjoy.
Great.
Um, Great. We still have a couple more minutes. Can you talk to us about some of the, perhaps for some people, unusual vocal and electronics combinations and sounds that we're going to hear in the score?
Sure. So a lot of the electronics are fairly simple, and a lot of the pitched sounds, so the notes that you hear, are actually recordings of this tuning fork that singers are very familiar with. Singers use it to, I can't get it to work, but singers use it to get their notes when they're singing. And it's just like a very simple kind of sine wave like sound. So basically everything that has a note that's not singing is a transposition of this tuning fork. Uh, and then I used sounds that kind of represented the story to me, like crows, which are traditionally associated with witches and black magic. There's bamboo wind chimes to kind of like sound like the rustling of all the wares that a witch trader might carry. There's birds that are associated with Snow White, and that's a bit of a Disney reference, you know, Snow White imitating the birds in the Disney movie. Uh,
One of the eeriest moments, I don't want to spoil anything, but there is a moment where the track was called Distorted Birds or something like
Mhm.
that. And every time I hear it, I'm just like, it's viscerally almost upsetting these birds that we've been hearing through the whole thing to suddenly hear them so wrong. It's a very eerie effect, and I loved that one. It was great work on your part.
yeah, it's just sort of this idea that Snow White starts out as a toddler at the beginning, and then as she's growing up, she's kind of becoming a little bit warped too by her own obsession with her beauty. Um, oh, and in terms of vocal sounds, I really wanted to, uh, well, first of all, explore this idea of Snow White growing up. So at the beginning, she's just learning how to talk, so she's experimenting with the different syllables that make up the word, you know, mirror and Snow White and things like that. And then by the end, she's actually singing full sentences. Um, and then, of course, because there's different kinds of characters here. When I just worked with Janice Jackson, I got her to kind of change her voice in different ways to sound like, you know, little Snow White and then grown up Snow White. And then there's Mother Queen and Evil Queen.
Mm-hmm.
So the Mother Queen represents that nurturing, loving side that wants to just bring her daughter back. And then Evil Queen is the woman who is anxious about the loss of her beauty and worried about being supplanted by her own daughter as the most important in the room, kind of thing. So I wanted those to be different qualities, and you'll hear Erin doing that very successfully. And then there's also the crone voice that comes up too.
Yeah, there's a very wide palette in this piece with the voices and the electronics, for sure. And this, as we've been talking about, is not a new work. Would you say that this is kind of in line with the type of work that you're doing nowadays, or is it just a complete departure from the types of things that you're working on these days? How does this relate to your, can I say, compositional voice
Well,
now?
I do work a lot with voice. That's been a big passion for me as a composer, and also I'm a performer myself. So I am working on a lot of opera these days, but this was kind of the last big electronic piece that I did. I have kind of a bit more of an electronics past, but after this piece, I moved away from that world, mostly except for recordings here and there, but this was kind of my last really big one.
Well, we're very grateful for that. And unfortunately, we have to cut it there because we want people to see the film. So here's
Yeah.
what we're going to do.
So check the chat if you're on the chat with the composer YouTube, because I've posted that link a couple times. It's also in the description. It should be clickable and it should take you straight to the YouTube premiere, which is where the film will go live in like a second.
Amazing. Thank you. We'll see you
Thank
over
you,
there.
Anna.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Anna.
Enjoy.
Okay.